So I have been a pilot now for just over a year, and it's been an interesting year. December the 22nd, 2021, I passed my PPL. Yay, I'm a pilot now. Yeah, up to the point that you suddenly realise you've now got to wait for the CAA to send you a licence, and I was sending it over Christmas. It wasn't actually that bad, but there was a little bit of delay. Yes, I know in America it's slightly different for you, and you get your certificate as soon as you land after your test. We don't do things like that in the UK. We do things differently, and it takes longer and it takes more paperwork. We have to wait. So it's January 2022, and I jumped in a plane with an instructor just to try and refine some of my flying. Yep, I now have a licence. Well, actually, no, I'm still waiting for the licence from the CAA, but I have the ability to fly an aircraft, and it was actually fun just to go flying as opposed to having a constant lesson. I also spent some time in a simulator. There's a video about that, which came to the ire of the CAA.
Watching you, Wazowski. Always watching.
Which was entertaining. And I did manage to crash it as well, which was entertaining as well. My licence then turned up. Yay! Now finally got my licence. Grabbed a school plane and went flying, and kept doing that for a while. The big problem I had with school planes was trying to get them booked out. School planes are always being used for training. That's why it's a flight school, and it was quite difficult to try and get longer than a 2-hour slot. So I was looking around and came up with this bright idea of doing my complex rating. Now, a complex rating is learning to fly an aircraft that is a little bit more complex. It has a wobbly prop and it has undercarriage that goes up and down. That's a complex. The school had a PA-28 Arrow, and I thought, great, I'll get checked out in that, then I can book the school plane. Because it wasn't going to be used for general training, it wouldn't be sitting in the circuits all the time, then I could borrow it and go further. Just about getting to the point where the instructor was about to sign me off, I just had to refine my landing technique a little bit. And then something broke on the plane, and the owner decided they weren't going to get it repaired, so they took it out of school circulation, which meant I couldn't fly it anymore. Great, back to school planes. Got to March, and a share popped up in the airfield, which I grabbed. There's videos either here or there. It's YouTube, the videos will pop up. But basically, I bought a share in a Cessna 172, and my flying took off. Literally, did some flying with the instructor, purely and simply to get myself used to going from a low wing to a high wing. All my training up to this point had been in low wings, PA-28 and the Arrow, and I'd never actually got into a high wing before. In fact, I never actually touched a high wing before I actually purchased one. Great idea, that one. But it was a great idea, and I found I loved it. Around about that time, I also managed, through some very strange way, to get myself interviewed by Flyer magazine on their Flyer live stream on a Thursday night. Thanks, Flyer. I got described as an up-and-coming YouTuber, which is great, and it's probably true because you're sitting here watching this video, but it was great being able to chat with the guys from Flyer. And then 2 days later, I went to a air show at High Wycombe and bumped into them again and got interviewed again, which was even better. Cheers, guys. So I managed to get settled in my little Cessna, flew with some other members of the group, took my wife to Duxford, which was a fantastic flight. Back about 2-3 years ago, when I sort of decided to learn to fly, we were actually at Duxford when I actually made the decision that I was going to contact the flight school and go for it. At that point in time, I made a promise to my wife that when I passed my PPL, we would fly to Duxford together, and managed to fulfill that. It was wonderful. Flying into Duxford, World War II airfield, lots of history there, fantastic group of people. I actually used Duxford for a couple of my training flights. 2 of my cross countries went through Duxford. Great bunch of people. Thanks very much, guys. Love Duxford. And if you get a chance to go, lovely long runway, fantastic museum. You get a couple of hours in the museum for the landing fee, and it's got a great little cafe as well. So if you haven't been to Duxford, definitely go to Duxford. After I took my wife flying, I then took my wife and my stepdaughter flying, and again, fantastic flight. Always, always, always try and get opportunities to fly with your family. Try and encourage them to actually go up with you. Let's face it, they've spent 2-3 years or months or weeks or hours, depends on how long it took you to fly. They've been there with you trying to go through all the books, trying to do all your flight planning, all the exams, etc. Hopefully they've been supportive of you. Go flying with them. And if you haven't got family behind you, then find some friends, go flying with them. Flying with people is fantastic, and it's a great way to encourage other people to get into aviation. Not necessarily as a pilot, not everyone wants to learn to fly, but just enjoying the element of getting into the sky and flying. It's brilliant. Get out there and do it with people. That sounds really wrong, but You know what I mean. Next, I jumped on a school trip down to Sandown, which was great, although I think I might have scared my co-pilot a little bit. Managed to almost stall on the way into Sandown, and it was an interesting landing. Didn't break anything, but I think I might have scared him. But not too much, because we went flying after that. We attempted to fly to Lutuke, and yeah, guess what? Didn't manage to make it to Lutuke. Ended up back in Sandown, mainly due to weather again. Attempted to fly to Ostend, and guess what? Yep, didn't manage to get to Ostend either, and this time actually ended up in Kemble. No video on that one, mainly due to a few office politics going on, but let's not discuss that one. Flew into Compton Abbas to find a man with a wobbly stick. Yep, there is one down there. And also managed to do a magical mystery tour with Jack. Great flying, 5 airfields in about 5 hours, dotted around the UK. Lots of interesting landings, mainly mine, but generally had a great time. As the clocks changed and the dark nights drew in, decided I was going to do my night rating, which was a great idea, apart from the weather didn't really want me to do anything. So I had, I think, 9 cancelled flights. Yeah, 9 cancelled flights. Even as a PPL holder, you still get cancelled flights due to weather. But the good news is, managed to squeeze a big chunk of it in 2 flights, and I've only got one more little bit to try and get signed off, and that should mean I have a night rating. Flying at night is completely different to flying during the day. Navigation's different. What you see outside is different, because guess what? It's dark. But you actually see a surprising amount compared with what you would expect to see. Yep, navigation and landing is harder. Landing is certainly harder because your perception and the things that the cue points that you would normally look at are completely different. Elstree is completely different anyway, because it's just weird. Managed to get all that signed off. All I've got to do now is do a navigation and spend an hour or so in the air, and hopefully that fulfills all the criteria. But if you get an opportunity to go night flying, go and do it. It's good fun. So I've reached the anniversary of my 1 year as a pilot, or technically 1 year as a PPL holder. Pilot makes me sound like I'm now flying with British Airways, but no, I'm just purely a private pilot. I happen to own a Cessna now, or a 5th of a Cessna. It's been great fun. It's been massively rewarding. There's been ups and downs. Yeah, I've had downs, and I'm thinking about doing a video talking about some of the negatives that I've had, not just from the dodgy landings and things like that, but imposter syndrome's cropped up a couple of times. In general, I think it's one of those things that you go from being a student to being a pilot, someone who is now responsible for your own life and other people's lives, without that backup of having someone sitting next to you who at the end of the day will shout at you if you do something really bad and grab the controls and save us all, we hope. It's been fantastic. I've really enjoyed it. Who knows what the next year holds? The good news is I'm going to carry on flying. I'm going to carry on working on my YouTube channel and doing these silly little videos, which for some strange reason lots and lots of people seem to like. I will do my best to document what I'm doing, and also give you some insight as to the experiences that I'm having just from flying. So the decision making that I make, sometimes I make the right decision, sometimes I make the bad decision. That's the way of life. The idea is to make sure that the bad decisions don't cause too many issues. But anyway, plans for next year, possibly looking at doing my IIR. I think I might just at the moment delay that a little bit and just do some more flying. I've seen too many students who immediately pass their PPL and they're straight onto the next course, and then they're straight onto the course after that. And unless you're rushing to get a commercial license, which I'm not, maybe people should just go flying a bit more and just go out, get some experience, enjoy it, rather than just looking at books all the time and sitting in front of simulators. Flying is supposed to be fun, and it is. Go and do it. Go and fly. Anyway, if you like what I'm doing, please consider the old thumbs up and the subscribe to the channel and all that. It's YouTube. You know the sort of thing that goes on YouTube. But whatever you do, please fly safe and have fun. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the commenty bit below, and I'll do my best to answer them. And if you've got any ideas for things that you'd like me to talk about or new videos, then please, again, leave them in the comments below. I'll see what we can come up with. I have actually got at least 2 or 3 interesting things planned, which are currently going through the motions of trying to be organised. So the channel could get quite interesting in the next 6-12 months. But anyway, thanks for watching. Have fun and be safe. Bye.